Hey guys, what's up? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another figure review where today we're taking a look at this brand new Marvel Legends first appearance Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man action figure. And so here is our new Marvel Legends packaging. For the second time here on the channel, we saw it with the Spinneret 2-pack that we looked at last week, and we get it again with this Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. At the top we get the 60th anniversary logo, which I really like, Marvel Legends series, Spider-Man here. We get an image of the figure at the front with some cool artwork in the back. Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man up here, Amazing Fantasy logo here, which is cool rather than it saying Spider-Man. We get the comic name. Image of the comic at this side, and then a figure image here. And I do like all these different images we get. Another image of the figure in a different pose at the back, Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. All the accessories that come with the figure, and it looks like, oh well, I suppose they're not missing any. I thought they were missing the wings, but we can see it on the Spider-Man figure there. So yeah, we do get a fair bit with this figure. No write-up once again, but we do see those comic images in the background. Yeah, I quite like the box, but let's get the figure out and take a closer look. And so here is our first appearance Spider-Man out of the packaging. And let's do what we always do and take a closer look at the accessories. We get these web wings, which are actually looking really nice. I'm not a massive fan of the web wings on Spider-Man. I'm probably not going to use them on this figure, but they do look cool. And we get two different versions. This is the more relaxed arms down version. Wee bit of scuffage there, but I do really like the sculpt on them. You see that web's kind of all sculpted into the back and it shines through. Looks really cool, but yeah, just personal preference. I'm not a massive fan of Spider-Man with the web wings, but it's cool to have them included with this figure, especially since as he features them in the comic, and we'll put them on later and see what that looks like. We then get all these interchangeable hands. These ones are probably the most different. These look like hands that are going to hold the web accessory. I've got a lot to say about the web accessory, so we'll get to that. Sculpt looks good, and yeah, I don't think I've seen these come with a Spider-Man before. We also get the wall crawling hands, which is great because we need the wall crawling hands, and we know Hasbro have not given us them with the retro Spidey in the past. Get the clobbering time hands, and then we get the thwipping hands as well. And I've had a closer look at them all the paint looks good on them, can't really complain. But then I can complain about this web accessory. We've been given this web accessory so many times with the Marvel Legends Spider-Man figures now, and I think it's pretty rubbish. I mean, from here upwards it's fine. I think the design's really nice. They've used a good colour on this particular one. We've gotten this sculpt a couple times with different colours of plastic, and it does look good. But I think this is so lazy. This triangle handle thing here, I do not get it at all. I mean, it looks ridiculous. It looks so cheap, really. I mean, there's been so many companies giving us different web accessories. A lot of people on Instagram making their own web accessories. This is by far the worst I've ever seen. I might just cut this off. They might as well just take the handle away, because if this is going to port on anyway, let's see if it will just fit in here, which I'm hoping it will. Oh, might need to bend the fingers. There we go. Slots in quite the thing. Why is this triangle handle even there? I don't understand. It looks pretty cool like that. If I was to cut that off, that looks so much more natural in how Spidey would hold his web in the comics, in the films. I don't understand this, and Hasbro really need to make some updated web accessories for the Spider-Man figure, but that's what they've given us here. Yeah, I just think they could do better. And then we've got the figure itself, and yeah, I am a big fan of how this figure looks. The head sculpt looks really cool. I don't think we've been given this head sculpt before. Yeah, definitely not. I really like the lenses, that really kind of skinny eye look. It looks nice. That white in the eye looks really good. The lenses around it, I love the shape of it. It's also just been revealed that we're going to get an Amazing Friends 3-pack, Firestar, Iceman and Spider-Man, and it looks like they're reusing this head sculpt. I think it is a really good looking head sculpt. Definitely looks like the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man to me. Big fan. I like the big logo as well. I think it's kind of the same as what I said about the Spinneret figure. I do wish it was maybe a wee bit smaller, but once again, it's comic accurate. The comic logo was really big. In fact, if we pull in the box again, we can see on the side here, that big chest logo. I definitely think they've nailed it. I do actually quite like the bigger logos rather than the smaller. We've got the original retro there. Look how small that logo is. Yeah, I'm definitely a bigger fan of the bigger logo. And this one I was saying was maybe a bit too big, maybe some middle ground between the original retro and this one. But I guess if we're going for an accurate Amazing Fantasy, this might be the perfect size. The rest of the webbing looks really good, really solid all over the figure. I really like it. And when I was first looking at the figure on Instagram, pictures, product images, I did think this was solid black, but it is really a nice dark grey. It's not too, you know, just pitch black or anything. It does look really nice in the hand and really comic-like. I'm not sure if that's coming across on camera. I suppose it must be, but yeah, basically I really like the colours is what I'm trying to say. Really like the webbing. The red looks good. And then we get the back logo, which I think is a good size, good shape and everything. It's a good back logo. But why is it not blue? I mean, is it just me? I've not seen anyone else complain about this. It may, I don't know. Amazing Fantasy 15, we had Spider-Man with the blue back logo, and I think that would be really cool if this figure had it, because we've not had any Spider-Man figures in the past with the blue back logo. We might not get any in the future, who knows. This would have been the perfect figure to have that super accurate Amazing Fantasy 15. I remember in the past kind of looking into the logo and why it was blue, and people were talking about it just being a kind of shadow, a shading. It was dark, it wasn't really meant to be blue. But I mean, if we're going comic accurate, it was blue, and it would have been cool to see it on this figure. I guess it's more of a standard looking Spidey if it is a red back logo, and I'm not hating it at all. I definitely think, as I said, it is the more standard look to Spider-Man. I get why it is red, but personally I would love to have seen a blue back Spider logo on this figure. And that's maybe my biggest gripe of this piece. It's not a big deal, but it would have been really cool in my opinion. We get the feet, we don't have any toe articulation like the Spinneret Spidey, but, you know, pretty solid. It's looking good to me. Let's compare this guy to some of the other Spidey figures. And first up, I wanted to compare the Hasbro Amazing Fantasy 15 Spidey next to the Toy Biz first appearance Spider-Man. And this is one of the first figures I ever owned. I got this when I was 3 years old, hence the reason that he is really worse for wear, missing fingers. I've taken a closer look at him in videos in the past, and I had to compare him next to our new Hasbro first appearance Spider-Man. This definitely looks like the much needed upgrade that I personally wanted, and I'm sure a lot of other collectors wanted. And so here is our first appearance Spidey next to the Renew Your Vows Marvel Legends 2-pack Spidey that we took a look at last week. And there are slight differences going on with these new Spider-Man figures. If you look at the legs, there's definitely more sculpted detail in here, and maybe the ab areas as well. Of course, different head sculpts, and also the Renew Your Vows Spidey has the toe articulation as well. Both are great Spider-Man figures, and if you're looking for more of a standard, for lack of a better word, generic looking Spidey, I'd probably go for the Renew Your Vows, but I do really like the look of that first appearance Spider-Man, and to be honest, if I was to pick one over the other, I'd maybe go for this guy here, but yeah, he's not exactly the go-to perfect comic Spider-Man, so it is just personal preference. I think both are fantastic figures, and both deserve to be in a Spider-Man collection. Yeah, just quickly for a closer comparison, you can see this first appearance Spider-Man is a lot less muscly in sculpt. We can see in the legs, the chest and the ab area that this guy is a lot more slim, not showing as much shredded muscles, and I do really like that. I like having both, I like the difference between them, and of course this is meant to be a younger Spidey, so perhaps, you know, he's got the muscles still to come. Just definitely wanted to show that off a bit more in case I missed it, showing them off further away. And then we have our first appearance Spidey next to the OG retro carded Spider-Man. We can see the articulation's the same, but there are differences in the sculpt, once again in the legs and what looks like the ab area. We do get the pinless tech on this figure, which I think is always going to be a nice touch now from Hasbro. The pinless tech has definitely pushed their figures to the next level. I'm a big fan. Once again, if I was going to pick between these two figures, I mean, it's hard not to choose the retro. That is what looks like Spider-Man. This is obviously going for the first appearance look. Both great figures, and I do kind of like the idea that it's kind of a suit evolution. We have the first appearance, his first suit that he's going out web swinging with, and then this could be later on down the road. So yeah, both great figures, and I'm definitely going to recommend that even if you do have this retro Spidey, maybe pick up the first appearance Spider-Man as well. And so there we have it for our brand new Marvel Legends Amazing Fantasy 15 Spidey, and I absolutely love this figure. I think the sculpt and paint is absolutely spot on. I love all the interchangeable accessories we get, the hands and the web wings. As I mentioned at the start, it's not really my favourite look to Spidey with the web wings, but I have to say they look really cool here with them slotted in, and it is easy enough just to port them in the back of the arm there. Great sculpt on them. My least favourite thing about this figure is perhaps the lack of the blue back logo. I was about to say the web accessory. I didn't mention how this isn't like bendable either. I just think it's really weak, especially with this triangle handle. It is just... Hasbro could do so much better, and for some reason they've not attempted to give us any more web accessories. But yeah, the back logo, I wish it was blue. It would definitely be more comic accurate, and unfortunately they've went for the more standard red, which is a shame. I do think that in terms of reaching a wider audience and having a more standard Spidey, it is the right move, but a blue back logo would have just been a bit more fun and a bit different. Let me know what you guys think of this figure down in the comments section below, especially the blue back logo. What do you think about that? While you're down there, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'll leave the link to my Instagram in the description below, so feel free to hop on over there and check that out. And feel free to hop on over to the channel page as well. That would mean a lot to me. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video right here. As always, I'll catch yous on the flip-flop later. Cheers.